Hello and thank you for joining us on NTA Nationwide. I'm Najaa Tijani and I'll be your guide bringing you trending stories from across the nation. We'll begin here in Abuja, where President Muhammadu Buhari this Tuesday granted audience to the former governor of Lagos State and chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in furtherance of his strategic engagement with critical stakeholders towards taking Nigeria to the next level. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
The engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the state of the nation was the first in the year 2020. Discussions held behind closed doors centered on the security, stability, and socio-economic development of Nigeria. Speaking to newsmen shortly after, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu described the New Year message by President Muhammadu Buhari to Nigerians as thought-provoking and reassuring.
His New Year message resonated very well. We have to relax, show concern for the people of the country, and see to the effort of the president that we manifest in the new, united and prosperous country.
The APC chieftain was full of praises for the Nigerian leader over his decision to abide by the nation's constitutional term limits.
It's very good to hear it directly from him. And to me, I say congratulations to a man of character and integrity. I was in the trench and in the opposition to a third-term agenda of a former leader of this country with Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. President. I know he will never. He has the courage and the character to refuse such a temptation, even if offered to him. I believe in him, and I believe Nigerians should, believe in him.
Asked to comment on the zoning formula by the governing APC for presidency in the next general elections, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu insists that time is not ripe for politicking. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And now to Borno State, where Governor Professor Babagana Umaru Zulum has gone back to Jimtilo checkpoint in Konduga local government area, where he expressed dismay yesterday over the worrisome attitude of security personnel at the checkpoint. The governor was on his way to Jakana town, which was attacked by Boko Haram terrorists when he was confronted with the situation at the checkpoint. Professor Babagana Umaru Zulum is back at Jimtilo to reassess the situation, and details of the latest visit will come in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army headquarters is to investigate alleged extortion of commuters by its personnel at a military checkpoint along Maiduguri-Damaturu Road. A statement by the Nigerian Army Operations Media Coordinator, Colonel Aminu Ilyasu, indicates that the allegation was made by the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, when he encountered an alleged incident while on the route. Colonel Ilyasu says the Army is committed to conducting its constitutional role professionally and enjoins Nigeria to call the toll-free code 193 for any act of misconduct by its personnel. The federal government has called for synergy in the way treaties and agreements are signed by agencies of government in order to establish a coordinated approach to government's inter-nation commitments. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, made this call in Abuja while inaugurating the National Directory of Treaties. Femi Okewo was there for NTA News.
There is a claim making the rounds in Nigeria that ministries, departments, agencies, and even NGOs fly out of the country to attend conferences and end up signing agreements or treaties without involving the federal government or the National Assembly since its existence. Now, that is to become a thing of the past now with the inauguration of the National Depository of Treaties. Section 4 of the Treaties Making Procedure Act 2004 designates the Federal Ministry of Justice as the depository of all treaties entered into between the Nigerian Federation and any other country. But due to the uncoordinated way agencies of government sign agreements, the Federal Ministry of Justice has now established a depository that will not only keep records of the treaties and agreements that Nigeria is a signatory to, but will also create access for them, both for local and international reference.
It is indeed about transparency, accessibility, and order in line with the commitment of the federal government to open government partnership, among others.
The National Assembly, which was represented at the event by the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Treaties, is particularly excited by this development, just as allied institutions too called for the streamlining of the processes leading to the documentation of Nigeria's international commitment. The inauguration of the National Depository of Treaties, the Solicitor General of the Federation, Dayo Akpata, says, will curb contradictions in Nigeria's international commitments. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
That was the inauguration of the National Depository of Treaties and not directory as earlier stated. Now, still on court matters, a Kwara State High Court sitting in Ilorin presided over by Justice Adebara has granted an ex-parte injunction restraining the Kwara State government or any of its agents from further demolition of the controversial property of late Olushola Saraki. The court, according to the counsel to the applicant Ibrahim Abdulaziz Ibrahim, ruled that the state government should not go near the land either to construct or do anything on the land pending the determination of the motion on notice. Now, the Minister of State for Environment, Sharon Ikezo, has inaugurated and handed over erosion, flood control and road improvement projects to the people of Umunze in Orumba South Council area of Anambra State. Onome Okadigbo reports that the projects completed by the federal government attracted commendation from the benefiting community.
The people commended the Buhari administration over the projects that has been handed over to the community for maintenance and sustainability, noting that the axis has been a source of concern over the years due to loss of land to gully erosion.
Past 10 years ago, if you come to Umunze, you will not see any road. But today, this regime of this government, there's a lot of development in Umunze.
We are very happy. This is a relief because this is our ancestral home.
The project involved the construction of a total length of 3.30 kilometers with 10 meters wide double-coated asphaltic pavement with drains on both sides. President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the Minister of State for Environment, Sharon Ikezo, said the project is one of the numerous projects Anambra would benefit from his administration.
And federal government of Nigeria is aware of this and doing everything possible to contain the menace of erosion in the southeast, not only in Anambra State.
The governor of Anambra State, represented by the deputy governor, Dr. Nkemo Keke, and others said residents should properly dispose their waste to avoid blocking waterways.
And we have lots of expectation from the federal government to continue to tackle, to help us, to support our efforts in dealing with all the erosion.
Amount of materials and men that were deployed to do this work. It's unprecedented.
The people are optimistic that construction of this road will boost social and economic activities in the area. From Umunze, in Onrumba, South Local Government Area of Anambra State, Onome Okadibo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, an estimated 1.2 billion naira worth of property was lost to fire incidents in Niger State between January and December 2019. Mukhtar Abubakar Wowo reports that the State Fire Service responded to 431 calls, including 20 false alarms during the period.
A bid to carry out its statutory responsibilities of saving lives and property, the Directorate of Niger State Fire Service attended to 431 number of calls for the year 2019, out of which 395 were fire disaster calls, 12 rescue calls, and 4 special services calls. The Directorate also recorded 13 fatalities, saved 10 lives, and over 6 million naira worth of property.
Most of the fires are residential. We also have that of road accident.
The controller says response time has improved while describing traffic and poor road network in slum areas as their major challenges in fighting fire.
Some people, they will even hear siren, but to give way, they don't want to give way to fire service.
In comparison with 2018 fire incidents in the state, the Directorate recorded 25% reduction in 2019, expecting drastic reduction in 2020 as the state government has provided all required in fighting fire outbreak.
Presently, we have about 19 firefighting vehicles purchased by the state government. In addition to that, we received 3 from Federal Fire Service, so that boosts our operational efficiency.
The Directorate, however, advised the public to always switch off electrical appliances and to properly manage and station gas cylinder as well as other cooking instruments, especially in this Harmattan period. In Mina, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on NTA. It's time now to link up with Dotun in our Lagos studio for more reports. Hello, Dotun.
Hello, Najatu, and a warm welcome to Lagos. The successes recorded by the Nigerian Navy in several operations has led to a drastic reduction in illegal maritime activities, resulting in greater economic gains for the country. In this report, the correspondent examines the strides attained by the Navy in 2019 and its prospects to achieve better maritime security in the new year. Protecting Nigeria's maritime space, which is about 84,000 square nautical miles, as well as its interest in the Gulf of Guinea, from crimes such as piracy, sea robbery, crude oil theft, illegal oil bunkering, illegal unreported and unregulated fishing, militancy and hostage-taking, was a task the Nigerian Navy committed its men and vessels to achieving in the year 2019, with successes recorded.
Everybody is sitting up. Everybody is working. Everybody has a key performance indicator that they must measure up to and they must be able to deliver. We also have a transformation plan, the revised edition for 2011 to 2020, which we are still operating. But then, this year, the CNS has directed us to begin immediately planning for another plan, transformation plan that will take us for the next decade.
The Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, on the 9th of December 2019 in Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, performed the keel laying for the construction of a new landing ship tank. The new vessel is to fill the vacuum created by the decommissioning of 2 landing ship tanks, NNS Ophium and NNS Ambe, 10 years ago, after serving in the Nigerian Navy fleet since 1979. The Nigerian Navy is not just acquiring vessels, it is also developing local content in its fleet renewal drive.
We started with now Karadua, and I learned Karadua went for the celebration of Ghana Navy at 60.
That's a show of force, not just diplomatic missions, but a show of the fact that we are capable to build our own platforms.
The Navy has also purchased 20 foreign patrol boats and 20 locally made patrol boats designed for brown water operations in the creeks. Reducing the poverty index in Nigeria requires concerted efforts by all Nigerians, and as the year 2020 begins, Lagosians believe it is a good time to imbibe the act of charity. Nosa Usula went to town and brought back this report.
The goal of the present administration to get 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years can be achieved as Lagos residents say efforts by non-governmental organizations and other public-spirited Nigerians will also go a long way to help government at all levels.
It's good to give. We can't take it with us. We have to use everything we have here. It's good to give, especially to those who cannot perhaps give you back or fend for themselves.
Giving is great to give, because if you give, you are also bound to receive as well.
It's a good thing if God has blessed you, bless people back in return, especially the less privileged.
They remained upbeat that if Nigerians work resolutely as one, the challenges facing the country would be surmounted. In Lagos, Nosa Usula, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after the break. Do stay with us.
They swore an oath to serve our fatherland and defend the people. They traded their freedom, comfortable homes and mortgaged their lives on the battleground for our unity and peaceful living. These are the great, fearless, loyal and committed Nigerian armed forces who risked their lives courageously to safeguard our borders. But in the line of duty, many never returned. Nigerians, arise, let's celebrate our fallen heroes. Put on the remembrance emblem with pride to support the incapacitated and families of our fallen heroes.
It is indeed befitting to honor the memory of the gallant hearts of the men who paid the supreme sacrifice to keep the country united.
President Muhammadu Buhari enjoins all ministries, parastatals, religious and corporate bodies to donate generously to the Emblem Appeal Launch. Send your donations to these accounts. Account name, Emblem Appeal Launch. Account number 393-200-7526. EcoBank Nigeria PLC.
President Muhammadu Buhari's projection for the new year on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Experts will take a look at the sectoral expectations. The program, Tuesday Live at 10:30 p.m., will be incisive and informative. Don't miss it.
I'm Deputy Comptroller of Customs Joseph Atta, the spokesman for the joint security exercise. Over a period of time, either through indifference or deliberate non-compliance to the ECOWAS protocol on transit of goods by our neighbors, the Niger Customs Service have been raising this issue. MOUs were signed severally. They were broken as soon as they were signed. We've seized over 32,050 kg bags of rice, and that is a huge impact. And then the fact that the coming in of this foreign rice have been completely shut down. We've gone around, we've received testimonies of farmers who, before now, found it difficult to sell one truck on a market day. These people say it now that those who could not sell one can now sell up to 20 trucks.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online, or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
We have come to the end of another successful year, and we wish to appreciate all those that mean so much to us: our sponsors, our clients, government at all levels, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, and above all, you, our esteemed viewer. Together, we made 2019 great. Together, we shall make 2020 even greater. That is why we say, thank you. This is wishing you Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Thanks for staying with NTA Nationwide. Now to electoral matters. Ahead of the 2023 general elections, Nigerians have called for electoral reforms to widen the political space, make it gender inclusive, and address issues of attitude and desperation among the political class. This was during a discussion on the outlook of politics in 2020 by guests on Good Morning Nigeria. Ekimini Williams monitored the program.
Us would like to see an electoral process that is much more improved, that is much more able to run on its own, that people have much more confidence in.
The emergence of the opposition candidate as winner of the March 28, 2015 elections came down in history as a positive window in Nigeria's democratic growth. Political scientist Kabir Mato says credibility of an electoral process should not be measured by defeat of an incumbent, rather by attitudinal uprightness of the electorate and political actors.
Let us not assume that at all times the problems have to do with the law, the enabling legislations that will guide the electoral processes. The major problem as far as elections in this country is concerned, in my view, has to do with the attitude and the desperation of the political actors. And as long as this is not addressed, and I think that's what we should begin to work on between now 2020 and 2022 up to 2023 to reduce this, excessive what you call desire on the part of politicians to get into political office or to an elected office as a matter of life and death.
It is the duty of the legislature to make laws for the country, but enforcement is key. And for as long as we're not enforcing our laws, we're just going to be like paper tigers. People will do whatever it is that they want, knowing fully well that nothing will come of it. They will never be held to account.
Although discussants discourage the handpicking of a successor by serving politicians, they, however, advise a subjectively active contribution to political reforms.
What type of involvement are we talking about, and what are we looking at? He should make his contributions. He should steer the thing subjectively and not twist or coerce the people to do that which will not be for the public good. Once the focus is on public good, for the generality of the people, the right decisions, the right things will be done. Okay. And the recommendations can be made. But should they come and pick and say, Chris Akomas, you are just a person? No.
They also advocate electoral reforms, which must include proportional representation of women and youths in politics. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Thank you, Ekimini. Now, Obehi is standing by in Benin for the next set of reports. Hello, Obehi.
Thank you very much for joining us in Benin. Edo State government has distributed relief materials to more victims of rainstorm and flood disasters in the 12 local government areas across the state. Elizabeth Omoko reports.
Special Advisor to the Governor on Special Duties, Yakubu Gowon, commended those close to the riverbank and flood-prone areas for adhering to warnings to move uphill and promise to always cater for the people.
This shows the extent that those state government can go in catering for its people. Mr. Governor thought it wise that we should go the extra mile because a few persons' fences were affected.
On behalf of the 12th Local Government Council Chairman, Mrs. Stella Ugiagbe from Ovia Southwest, commended Governor Basaki for the succor provided.
We should say thank you to Mr. Governor for his magnanimous efforts and way that is bringing the people out and is people feeling part of democracy.
Items donated include roofing sheets, cement and nails. This is after distributing food items to victims in August 2019. In Benin, Elizabeth Omako, NTA News.
Incidences of fire outbreaks, which have almost become a daily occurrence in recent times in Benin, have left many homeless and property worth millions of naira destroyed. In this report, Eugenia Ndubisi takes a look at the causes, prevention and response by the fire service and conduct of people in such situations.
Recent incidences of fire outbreaks in Benin metropolis include the Benin 33 kVA transmission line, Santana and Oleha markets, JBS estate in GRA, as well as Uwenu market motors papers. Causes of the infernos are traced to either human activities or environmental factors.
Negligence can cause fire outbreak. This season of Harmattan, anything can, ignite fire. And people need to be very, very careful the way they handle their home appliances.
It is observed that during such situations, some people, under the pretense of trying to remove property from harm's way, loot them, causing more loss to those affected.
Personally, it's not good. It's not good at all. Those people lost their goods. They are really in pain.
Benin residents, however, urge firefighting outfits to respond promptly to emergencies.
Several times it has occurred in this state. What we hear about is late response, and the people are not happy about that.
Reacting to the allegation, especially during the Ekiosa Inferno, Governor Godwin Obaseki urged residents to always allow the relevant authorities perform their duties without hindrance.
When I don't see where fire go dey burn from tin, someone come help you, make you quench the fire. You go drive the person come out.
Any government that comes in should endeavor to ensure that the equipment being used by fire service are functioning.
It is a consensus that individuals take steps to prevent any occurrence. In Benin, Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
It was a day of mingling with Oba of Benin as he hosted children to a New Year party. And Willie Okolo was at the palace ground and reports that it was a memorable time for them.
The celebration has become an annual event. It is to give children time to have fun and celebrate with the king, who many of them are seeing for the first time. The celebration was heightened when the Oba joined them on the dance floor. Just a day of merriment, but a day of cultural reorientation. The Oba charged parents to live good lives that their children can emulate.
Has directed me to advise our parents and our children to live exemplary life for the children to copy, so that they will become good citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The monarch blessed them.
Have a nice time today. May God bless the Oba for doing this thing to us. Glory be to God, to the Oba. I shall have many years.
Every year I want to be here with my children.
Today is when the Oba was throwing the bets. We love that.
They had crested lunch boxes, books as gifts, and food, courtesy His Royal Majesty. In Benin, I'm Willie Okolo, NTA News.
And that's our contribution, Niger 2. The news continues in Abuja. Stay with us.
Thank you, Obehi. It's nice to see that the Oba has some 2020 moves there. And now to security matters. The security forces of Nigeria are working continuously to return those taken hostage by Boko Haram to their families, friends and communities. In doing this, the government has full confidence in their ability to accomplish this task. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, on its own part, government has condemned some of the appalling acts of terror, especially following the festive period. Yet, to continue to see these happening solely on religious terms, removed from social, economic and environmental factors, simplifies complexities that must be heeded. Not seeing them as they should be is exactly what the terrorists and groups wish. They want Nigerians to see their beliefs as reason to turn against one another. On the contrary, Christians and Muslims alike are united in their opposition to Boko Haram and the hatred for decency that the infamous group stands for. Nigerians must continue to be united in ensuring that they do not subscribe to the terrorist message of division. Unfortunately, some leaders and politicians seek to make political capital from our religious differences. As we fight Boko Haram on the ground, so too must we tackle their beliefs. Stability and unity in face of their hatred is itself a rejection of their worldview. This government shall never tolerate religious intolerance. We clearly and unambiguously restate our support for the freedom to practice whichever belief you wish. The politicization of religion, as forbidden by the Constitution, has no place in Nigeria. And still on security, as part of efforts to educate the public on the activities of the Nigerian Armed Forces, the Defense Headquarters has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Nigerian Film Corporation for the production of documentaries and movies on the lives of some of the fallen heroes. Doyin Dia reports.
A copy of this MOU bringing our both agencies into a very excellent collaboration that will be for the interest of the industry and Nigeria at large. Thank you very much.
The signing of that MOU officially put a seal on the partnership between the Nigerian Film Corporations and the Defense Headquarters in order to produce short documentaries and movies that will showcase some of the activities of the Nigerian Armed Forces as well as the sacrifices of its men.
Many Nigerians are unaware of what the military is doing. It is for that reason that the Chief of Defense Staff decided that we will go into collaboration with Nigerian Film Corporation, which has been there before now, but it lapsed. So there is need to go back into that collaboration so that we will start working together to produce films.
From experience, the valor and courage of the Nigerian Armed Forces has been greatly underestimated. And we need to tell their story over and over and over again.
And of course, when we talk about global presence of the Nigerian military, we are going to do that using the Nigerian filmmakers. They are going to be the new generals in uniform, the new rear admirals, all are going to be Nigerian filmmakers.
And this is expected to also boost the civil-military relationship which is already existing, as well as project the creative industry in Nigeria through the production of such movies. In Abuja, Doyin Dia, NTA News.
Thank you, Doyin. We are looking forward to some of those movies. And still on security, leaders of Niger Delta ex-agitators under Phase 3 of the Amnesty program have applauded steps so far taken by the federal government in deepening peace in the Niger Delta region. At a meeting with the coordinator, Presidential Amnesty Program, Professor Charles Dokubo in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, the ex-agitators acknowledged that the program has empowered them for a brighter future. Clement Barikui has details.
Poverty
lack of engagement of the youth in meaningful ventures, and a feeling of neglect were among issues that gave birth to various agitations in the Niger Delta region before the launch of the Amnesty program in 2009. 10 years already gone by, and youth of the region, particularly ex-agitators, are now meaningfully engaged in different vocational trainings and schemes under the Presidential Amnesty program.
Me, I'm training people in agric, so it's a plus to me. For before, we don't have these opportunities.
A lot of people are in school, and their school fees, tuitions, and allowances are being paid steadily.
And this Avengers issue, all have gone with the effort of President Buhari and the support of the SC to the President of Niger Delta and the Coordinator Presidential Amnesty Program.
This meeting between leaders of Niger Delta ex-agitators and the coordinator of Presidential Amnesty Program, Professor Charles Dokubo, is meant to resolve issues affecting Phase 3 of the Amnesty Program and chart new ways for deepening the existing peace in the region.
We are going to set a new pathway so that those issues that have been raised will be addressed.
The sustained engagement of the Niger Delta ex-agitators by the federal government has allowed for daily oil production growth, even as government remained focused on adopting new strategies to sustain the stability and security in the region. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's now join Caleb in Jos for stories from that axis. Hello, Caleb.
Hello, Najatu. Welcome to Jos. The festive period with all the merriments may have come and gone. But one thing staring parents on the face is school fees, as schools resume in a few days' time. Let's join Felicia Deliop Samaila, who is in town to feel the pulse of parents. So, Felicia, over to you.
Thank you, Caleb. The situation in town for most parents is actually not an easy one, but planning ahead has played a very vital role in sending their children to school. I'm here with one of the parents. Let's hear what he has to say.
Thank you very much. Planning, as they say, whoever fails to plan, plans to fail. Taking care of the children's needs, particularly school fees, is thing that you need to plan over time. There are parents that sometimes they go beyond their budget in the name of celebration, and they find it difficult to pay the school fees when school resumes, particularly in January.
Keep the school fees apart before spending or celebrating, because after celebration there is bashi for you to pay.
It's always difficult within the January season to pay school fees. So over time, what has helped us is a bit of planning.
If you check your pockets, you know how you're going to spend.
Well, the story is always the same every January. But this year, the cheering news for most parents is the minimum wage arrears, which came in handy.
It's been very, very useful. It was there for school fees. I think we should commend them for that.
The minimum wage come handy, and it's a very good period.
Now, from all indications, parents are fully prepared for resumption on 13th January. Caleb, it's back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Felicia. We're expecting maximum wage soon. Thank you, government, too. As issue of security continues to occupy priority position in government agenda, a lot is hanging on the doorsteps of security agencies as they grapple with the onerous task of securing lives and property of citizens. A review of security in Plateau State in 2019 reveals that more attention is now on sustaining the existing peace and bridging the gaps between communities. Rinred Silvanus Lord takes it from here.
Being
Being a cosmopolitan state, Plateau has experienced myriads of security challenges that has left the state grappling with many after effects. The year 2019, however, saw security agencies coming together with interagency collaborations to achieve the goals of not only keeping the peace but maintaining it. Operation Safe Haven, in its proactivity, took up the role of establishing civil-military relations with host communities, as seen in the various activities that rounded up the year, with focus on youth, who it says is the driving force of any society.
Again, we have entered the post-crisis phase, which requires the rebuilding of broken pieces of the people. And we have what we call civil-military cooperation activities. We are doing the aspect that we feel that we can bridge immediately before other state agencies cannot take up the other part of the responsibility.
The police, on the other hand, is crime has been reduced to its bare minimum. Evidence
was this issue of killings, mostly on daily basis in communities between farmers and herdsmen. But as it stands, we have reduced it significantly. We've been able to reduce the seriousness of Sarasuka.
Projection is that based on the level of security architecture put in place by government, the state is expected to witness tremendous peace in the year 2020. In Jos, Rinvet Silvanus Lot, NTA News.
That's it from Jos, but we shall return to Niger too after this commercial break.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down.
Do you have a job where you're going to? No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Alinko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
This Saturday on the Premier League, Manchester United go head-to-head with Norwich City Bank.
Thanks for staying with NTA Nationwide. Now, pilgrims from Taraba State, northeastern Nigeria, have begun their spiritual obligations with visits to different holy sites in Jerusalem. Ruth Aguele reports that for many of them, such a connection to the life of Christ is one that they consider priceless.
It has become a common tradition for people all over the world to visit the holy city, not because of its tourist sites, but for the religious values it holds. These pilgrims have also come to be part of history. The first visit was King David's tomb, one of the greatest kings ever lived, as written in the Holy Book, located in Mount Zion. In here, the women and men are not allowed to go into the same sections, which is part of the Jewish culture.
You know, King David was a much loved king in the Bible, and for us, and even an ancestor of Jesus Christ. So to be able to see his tomb and even touch it, it was a great experience.
I saw the coat of arms of Israel that the King David established. This strengthened my faith.
The Shepherd's Field, which is 2,000 steps away from the place of the birth of Christ, where his birth was announced to the shepherds in the caves, was also a significant place to reminisce and pray. After the prayers, the pilgrims paid homage to the underground caves at the foot of Mount Zion, a place where these walls once felt the warmth of its prisoner, Jesus Christ, the night before he was crucified. St. Peter in Galakantu reminded pilgrims here of when one of the disciples denied Christ 3 times before the cock crows, and Andrew Musa couldn't hold back his tears.
You're supposed not to deny Jesus in any situation you find yourself. When I think about what Peter did, I feel sad. That was why I cried.
Every believer must depend on the grace of God and ask God to help him or her.
For some of the pilgrims, they say, not only will these holy sites help them connect to their Creator, but also one memory that will linger on for a very long time. From Jerusalem, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
And Fitianul Islam of Nigeria is set to key into the federal government's counter-terrorism agenda by engaging Islamic scholars across the country. This came to the fore at a 2-day national convention of the Islamic First Aid Group in Damaturu, Yobe State. Reviewing Nigeria's counter-terrorism laws is top on the agenda for the scholars. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
The August gathering is another milestone in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism in Nigeria, as participants will spend 48 hours deliberating, reviewing and analyzing national laws on counterterrorism for the Sufi movement to key into them through responsive preachings of Islamic religious tenets.
This convention has conveyed, in collaboration with the Yobe State government, is the way forward, because we review the laws. We now look at the needs of each of the respective states. Then we now formulate the decision.
National President Fitianul Islam of Nigeria, Sheikh Arabi Ibn Sheikh Ahmad Abdul Fatih, who stressed the importance of education in nation building, said reducing high level of illiteracy in the society and empowering jobless youth in the insurgency affected areas are antidotes to tackling the root cause of insecurity bedeviling different parts of the country. Hence call for more collaboration between governments at all levels and religious-based organizations to advance the cause of national security, job creation, education and socio-economic development. Governor Mai Malabuni, represented by his deputy Idi Bardagubana, was assertive that the convention will accord the participants the opportunity to brainstorm on issues that will enable the state government engage in effective partnership for strengthening their role in countering violent extremism and peace building.
This convention could not have come at a better time than now, considering the fact that we have now been experiencing improved peace and security situation.
Founded in 1963, Fitianul Islam of Nigeria has branches in 209 local government areas in 23 states of the Federation. Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
And still on security, President Muhammadu Buhari has restated his unshakable resolve to engendering a free, fair and credible electoral process in the country. To this end, he charges the Independent National Electoral Commission and the Nigeria Police to not only be firm and fair, but provide a level playing and secure environment for all in the discharge of their responsibilities. This was at a strategic meeting when he summoned the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu. Reports will come in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, the report on Governor Zulum's allegation of extortion by military personnel is now ready. We'll take the report now.
Was as a result of insurgency attack on Jakana town in Kandiga local government, which necessitated the need by the military to identify passengers plying the road by producing their national ID card, a situation that forced passengers and commuters to spend hours on queue. Worried by the development, Governor Babagana Umara, who was on his way to Jacana town to sympathize with victims of the insurgency attack, said, government is doing everything possible to ameliorate hardship faced by the people. As such, any attempt that will cause discomfort to the citizen will not be tolerated.
Those people in the checking point are receiving 500 naira per person, 1,000 per person. No any reasonable government can accept this one. And with the insurgency, there was an attack in Jekana. Boko Haram came with 5 gun trucks. I was coming from Mauli, and I was told even by Major General B on the road fighting Boko Haram on this road to stop and not go beyond Benishek. There was a fight for 2 hours. 3 Boko Haram were killed. Their corpses are still with us. Nobody is disputing this.
He said possibility of getting the national ID card has not been created, noting that this has brought more problems to the people of the state. However, the theater commander Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Olusegun Gabriel Adeni, said the congestion of vehicles was as a result of Boko Haram attack, which lasted for more than 2 hours, thereby making them conduct thorough checking at the checkpoints, adding that it was not a deliberate attempt, but an effort to safeguard the people. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
And now to sports. All eyes on Cairo as Confederation of Africa Football set to name Best Footballer of the Year this evening. Kenne Emabodike tells us more.
There is a glimpse of hope for former Nigeria international and former head coach of the Super Eagles, Samson Siasia, as the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, has fixed March 19, 2020 to hear his appeal over the live ban handed in by FIFA in August 2019. The date was fixed after CAS had set up a panel of jurists that would hear the appeal filed by Siasia following allegations of bribery and match fixing. Siasia was on by FIFA from all football-related activities. The Nigeria Professional Football League enters March